Yeah, I just wanted to have one. If we have two people over here, I don't know if we have a full. I just don't want to drip anyone out.
Might be a different spot.
Share a press row with me? You gonna share a press row with me? Of course. Well. How are you? Good.
Nice. So she's got to write nice things about all of us after sitting through these meetings.
So here's his hour. Okay, now you. Okay. Okay, you got the other one. Ethan Ray. And you tell him. Okay, you're fine.
All right, we're gonna come back into the meeting. Am I gonna have to gavel Bruce? Hey, Bruce. It's much more effective than the gavel.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna return to open session. Up first is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. So this evening, we are going to start with a presentation, a special presentation from Jamie Kochis, our District Director of Technology. Jamie's taken a proactive role in making our district technology functional, predictable, and safe for all of our users. District has made significant upgrades to our technology staff and physical infrastructure. I'm proud of the work the technology team has completed in this.
To see if anybody can penetrate our network, and if so, how. And then they'll provide us with feedback on what we can do better. This month, we had a phishing campaign, so a few hundred emails were sent out to various staff members throughout the district to see if anybody clicks on links or opens fraudulent emails. We're waiting for the results on our phishing campaign. That will happen multiple times this year, different phishing campaigns out to staff members. And then finally, with the program, we have remediation hours. So we have a bucket of hours every month. We can decide what we want to work on independently as a team. We can decide what we need CDI's assistance with. And we have hours every quarter that they'll work with us on working through any of our issues. So that's kind of the overall program, how it works throughout the course of the year. Basically, our goals is, as you know, we've been working really hard to reduce our threat surface over the last year and a half. Basically, we want to maintain a mature and robust cyber infrastructure. So we want to make things sure that when technology is working, people don't notice. When technology is broken, everybody notices. So we want to create that balance that teachers can teach and students can learn, but we want to make sure that our infrastructure is safe and secure for all of our users. We've also, in the last year or so, we've moved to least privilege environment, meaning if you don't need access, you don't get access. Again, it just reduces our threat. We have been implementing, and we really need to increase our security practices and processes. Just as a district and as a department, creating a practice and a process for things to get done and how we do things and who does them. And finally is continuing to implement our security training and awareness for all staff. This year, staff do their own onboarding training every year. We use Safe Schools. So in Safe Schools this year, we did have a cybersecurity module in there. When I send out my alerts to staff, I always give my little blurbs about staying safe online. But we want to make sure our teachers are on computers all day, our kids are on computers all day. And we spent a lot of time in our technology program and making sure that our students are responsible digital citizens, but we also want to make sure that our staff are responsible citizens as well and know where to go to or who to ask questions to if they're not sure or anything like that. So those are our goals with the program. The framework that we use is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the cybersecurity framework. So this is the framework that is guiding our work with CDI, and there's 5 pieces to the module. The first is identify, develop an organization of risks. What are our cybersecurity risks to our systems, to our people, to our devices, to our data? Protect, how can we develop and implement safeguards to ensure our people and devices and infrastructure is safe? Detect, what systems do we have in place to detect any unusual activity? Respond, if we do have an unusual activity, what's the process for responding to it? And then recover. What actions do we have an incident response plan for recovering if there's a cybersecurity incident? So this is the framework. This is the most utilized framework. This is the framework that guides our work with CDI. This is CDI's CAP program philosophy, and it kind of makes sense. If you look at the bottom of the scope and sequence, it goes from basic or perimeter, and that's really a technology focused, right? We're looking at the tools. How are the tools working? Do we have systems in place to protect our servers and our Windows devices and et cetera, to keep our Wi-Fi secure? It's basically technology focused. And when you work up your way up that, you're really looking at a more detailed approach that's focused on the people, focused on the users, focuses on processes, and making sure that those are in place to keep our cybersecurity and our infrastructure secure. So this is CDI's framework that they go by, and if you look at the conversation we've had over the years, we are kind of climbing up that ladder, so that's good. And that's our next steps. We are going to continue with our internal and external pen tests. They will work with us to review our procedures and practices that we have in place. We will review our cybersecurity policies to see if they're up to date or not up to date, any modifications that might need to be, or recommendations. And then finally, it's that ongoing end user training, all staff and students, to make sure that they're responsible users of technology. Any questions?
So again, as an organization, we're thankful for the work being done by the talented group of individuals we have in the technology department. I'm personally grateful to work alongside these talented folks, specifically Jamie, Sarah Reichel, Kevin Rafferty, and Kyle Riley. They've taken Bridgewater to a far better place than we were before their tenure, so once more, thank you, and we'll have one last call here for any questions from the board for Jamie Kochis.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next part of my report is a very exciting topic, and that is the CUSAC overview. So what CUSAC is, and it's a little bit of a tongue twister, it's the New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum. So essentially what this is it's your state monitoring that's supposed to happen every 3 to 5 years. Ours is a little over 5 years because from what I understand from my colleagues is that we were ready for the review back in 2020, but then COVID hit and things were pushed back for quite some time. So we are up this year, and again, it's a process that goes through multiple categories. So there are 5 areas the state looks at: fiscal, instruction and programming, governance, operations, and personnel. So in each one of those areas, there are a series of documents, and it could be Board of Education agendas, curriculum, policy, things like that, where the state will ask us to compile these documents so when they come and visit us, which is on January 30th, that they can take a look at our proof that we follow the procedures that the state outlines. So it's actually quite a large undertaking, and we've got a meeting tomorrow where we're going to review the DPRs, and that's basically the self-assessment. All right, it's the District Performance Review. I have to get all my acronyms correct here. So it's the District Performance Review, which is a self-assessment. Right, so what happens with that self-assessment, we go through it in the committee that's going to meet tomorrow. We score ourselves, and a lot of times the scoring, it's all or nothing. Right, so you get 5 points for something or you get 0. You're not graded on a curve. So once we review that, we take it to the Board of Education. The Board of Education will approve the DPR with the cover sheet, and then we submit that to the state. The state then takes that self-assessment, and we've had a series of meetings. I know today there was one as well on governance, and they tell us what they're going to look for, and we really spend the next couple of months making sure that all the paperwork, all the documents, everything are in place. What makes it somewhat easier than it was, let's say, 10 or 15 years ago, is that, for instance, our policy manual is accessible on the internet. So when the county comes to check our policy, they're not going to spend all day going through binders and things like that. They're merely going to click on certain policies that... Like the old days. Correct, like the old days, where you go through the large binders. Instead, what they do is they'd say, these are the critical policies that districts need, and they will check those. Likewise, our curriculum is online, so you can really access any of those documents remotely. So, the day of isn't quite the undertaking that it was if anyone sitting here went through this 10 or 15 years ago. But nonetheless, it's quite a bit of work, and there's going to be more to come on this. So, any questions on CUSAC?
I'm fortunate enough to serve on a committee for this at my school, which is undertaking we're going through the same process this year. And I can vouch for Mr. Beer's point that there really is a lot that goes into it, because there are 5 continuums or whatever, and each one really gets into nitty gritty. There are dozens of checklists and bullet points and things like that. So I appreciate everyone who's working through those, because it's a lot of fun. I mean,
and on the
yes.
committee, we do have a teacher, board member, a principal, another administrator, and people from central office as well. So it's recommended that you do have you do have representation from your local bargaining units. So, look, Laura Kress is lucky enough to sit in on this meeting tomorrow as well. So, anyhow, it's ongoing, and I believe at the November meeting is when we will have the document for the board to upload, or I'm sorry, for the board to approve, and then we will upload it onto the state website. Because in a typical year, this would be due on November 15th, but since the DPRs from the state did not come out until last week, now the deadline is December 15th. So, that's it.
That seemed to be a theme. Last year, there was some CUSAC stuff at the school board's conference, and I went to one of those meetings, and most of it was, most of the questions were, when is this going to be out? When is this going to be out? And the state will be, you'll find out when it comes out.
Yeah, and typically that's on a Friday at 4:30, and
Yes.
a few weeks after. But nonetheless, we're going through it, and it's a good process, and it's a way, really, for the Board of Education to see that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing from a procedural standpoint, and it's a valuable exercise to go through. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Singer for the President's report.
Thank you, Mr. Bierce. So this evening, I have the pleasure of introducing the Student Board of Ed representatives for the 2023-2024 school year. We have Iris Pan, Sia Gupta, and Gianna Jakubowski. And I've already warned them about this, but ladies, if you could introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves, that would be much appreciated.
Hi everyone, it's very nice to meet you all. My name is Iris Pan, and I will be one of the Student Board of Education representatives. I'm involved in a lot of activities here at the high school. I'm the secretary of the National Honor Society. I am involved in a few science clubs. I play on the varsity girls tennis team, and I play the cello for our school symphony orchestra. Outside of school, I'm very passionate about advocating for children's oral hygiene, and luckily, I've been able to advance this project with Mrs. Colavito, the head nurse at Bradley Gardens Elementary School. So I'm very grateful to be here and to be able to represent all of the students at our high school.
My name is Gianna Jakubowski. I am also very excited to be a representative this year for the Board of Ed. I mostly am involved in journalism. I'm the editor of the school newspaper, The Prowler, and the captain of BR Television for the news section. And so I think that it's important for me, and being here as a representative, to speak on behalf of the students of BRHS. And I think that's very much clear through journalism, and it's very important to let you guys know what's going on at the high school. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Sia. I'm excited to be another student representative for the Board of Education. So I'm mainly interested in healthcare, and over the summer I got certified to work as an EMT. I'm in a lot of clubs, so I'm the outreach director of the Science National Honor Society. I'm in the American Red Cross Club. I volunteer a lot. So yeah, I'm just excited, and I hope you guys like us.
We hope you like us.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And look, we're really going to need your help with BRTV and the paper to help us make these meetings a little more exciting and user-friendly. So, I mean, it's a tall order, but thank you. Can I just, I know I'm butting in here, can we take a minute, the first meeting, to have the Board of Education and our new student reps take a photo right here in front of the dais, and then we can publish that tomorrow. That's it.
Peter has a hard stop. Let's go. Hi, girls. Come on, Karen. All right, that's great. Dan Flounder doesn't want to photobomb?
Zooming in on you. Give him real control of technology guys. Only as a backup. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I know. Just hold the camera up.
Steve, Mike,
So Iris, Sia, and Gianna, I want to welcome you to our meetings and hope that you'll be involved representatives. The board benefits greatly from the perspective of students in our largest school. Students who have gone through every level of our school, and students who have the duty of representing their fellow students, so we appreciate that. Additionally, the student body benefits from having you guys here. It benefits from having you up to date on board presentations, like you just saw, and the activities of the board. We look forward to hearing your reports, as well as your thoughts on district issues as we discuss them at meetings. So if you do have any thoughts that come up during a meeting, please feel free to just, wave your hand and I'll pick on you, all right? With that said, we also understand that you are full-time students, so that you have a burden of homework, testing, and extracurriculars that I'm sure fill your time and attention. So while we are happy to have you here, tonight and at future meetings, if at any point you need to leave to get your homework done, go study for a test, whatever you got to do, please feel free to do so. You don't need to ask permission. You could just get up and go anytime, all right? So again, thank you for being here. We really, really look forward to working with you. So in addition to these exceptional seniors that we've just introduced, we are in the midst of senior recognition for our fall sports and extracurricular programs, and I just wanted to extend our congratulations to all of the seniors who have been recognized or will be recognized at these events. In addition, a number of board members got to go see Godspell over the weekend, so I want to congratulate the cast and crew of Godspell. They concluded their run on Sunday, and as always, it was a great production filled with incredible talent both on stage and behind the stage. And as I was sitting there and seeing not only the students that were involved, but the parents that were involved as well, both there and at football games and competitions, I just wanted to express my gratitude to the parents of our students, and particularly to our parent volunteers. We have parents that man concession stands at football games, who build props and handle tickets at theater events, who prepare food for our students at different events, make sure that they're fed, and help out in hundreds of ways every week. They put in many hours of their time to support not only their children, but our programs, setting a prime example of what it really means to be a part of a community. In many cases, they continue to do this after their children have graduated from BR, and it's really appreciated. So I want to thank our parent volunteers for helping to make our district great in so many ways, and encourage all parents to really just get involved in the district in whatever capacity that they can. And that's my report. Mr. Walker, do you have a report today?
Yes, I do, Mr. Singer. A little bit of update in the calendar. A couple of things from September, which are still coming out. The MOA, which is we're waiting on the new state format for that, so that has not come through yet. We're into October, the year's moving along. We have the public hearing of the SSDS report coming up, policy 8461. We also have the third annual of the pending legal matters to report to the board. We also have the approval of the school safety and security plan, the annual review. And in November, we have the Board of Ed elections coming up on November 7th. We also, as Bob mentioned, the CUSAC approval will be presented in November, but not due till December 15th. And coming up shortly, we also, the audit report, will have the preliminary review of that at the Finance Facilities Transportation Committee, and then we'll come to the full board usually in the February timeframe, because we have some what's called CAFRs to be adjusted that take some time.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. We're up to committee reports, which should go fairly quickly tonight. Up first is Mrs. Levitt with Academic Committee.
Next meeting is October 16th.
Thank you, Mrs. Levitt. And then we have Community Relations with Mrs. Friedlander.
Yes, and it sounds like my mic is working this time. So
Okay, so we actually moved our meeting up. We met on October 6th at 8:45 a.m. In attendance was myself, Ms. Lochran, Ms. Lee, Mr. Beers, Mr. Singer, and Mr. Moran. The goal of the meeting was to focus on outreach for the November 7th referendum. We created some items and a list of places and people to talk to help make sure the word gets out. We're going to be attending PTO meetings. There will be the community forum here on October 30th. Postcards will be going out to all voters. Flyers will be presented and passed out at events, articles in the Patch and Breeze. And we will also be visiting schools during pickup and drop-off times, as well as any other school happenings like Halloween parties. Mr. Beers also updated us on the newsletters and some social media outreach. We only had we had two walk-in items. One was to congratulate the student photographers and videographers that have been hired. Many of them are on the personnel addendum tonight. And also, we wanted to reemphasize that the opt-out form for sexual health and education curriculum can be downloaded from the district website. It's under Curriculum, Health and Physical Education. It is also accessed from the district page on any school page, on any district page through the individual school as well. We adjourned at 10 a.m. The next meeting date is November 17th at 8:45 a.m. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions? Thank you, Mrs. Friedlander. Up next is FFT with Mr. Walker.
We have rescheduled our meeting to be on the 18th. We addressed that at 5 p.m. at the Wade Building. There was a scheduling conflict for the CSA BRTV evening for the candidates, and two of us were not going to be able to attend the FFT meeting, so we rescheduled it. And we're having the auditor come at that time also.
Can I just ask, confirm the time? Is it 5 o'clock?
It's
or
5
5:30?
o'clock right now, just trying to, we're
Just make
trying to accommodate the
Yeah.
meeting here after we're attending,
Got it.
so it's
Thanks.
pretty busy week next week for PTO meetings and attendance, so.
Great, thanks.
Is that all right? Is there any issues?
Yeah, no,
with
no,
time?
thanks for
Okay.
everyone on the committee for
Yeah.
moving that around.
Appreciate that. And Peter and the staff
Peter
too.
and Bob too, especially.
And that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Now we have personnel with Mr. Joshi.
Our next meeting is on the 17th at 5.
It's a full week. Are there any liaison or delegate reports?
I did actually attend the council meeting, and they recognized the BRHS cheerleaders. It was it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they had worked with the township for putting the pink bows everywhere. And also there was another thing, collecting, so just reporting out on that.
Thank you, Mr. Walker, and thank you to the cheerleaders that take the time and energy to do that. We're up to item number 10, our first public session on action items only. Individuals in our groups are invited to present their concerns, comments, and requests regarding the following action items to the Board of Education at this time. In accordance with board policy, members of the public are allotted one opportunity to address the board for a maximum of 5 minutes during this period of the meeting. Please be advised that a video recording of this meeting will be posted on the district's website. Seeing none, we're going to close that portion of public comment. We're up to item number 11, the approval of minutes, for which I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any changes that need to be made? Seeing none, Mr. Stars.
Ms. Levitt.
Yes.
Ms. Lochran.
Yes.
Mr. Pepe.
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri.
Yes.
Mr. Joshi.
Yes.
Ms. Freelander.
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, the motion passes. We're now moving to the approval of action items. Up first is Personnel 2413 and Personnel 2414.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Stars.
Ms. Levitt.
Yes.
Ms. Lochran.
Yes.
Mr. Pepe.
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri.
Yes.
Mr. Joshi.
Yes.
Ms. Freelander.
Yes.
Ms. Lee.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, the motion passes. We're up to Curriculum 2419 through Curriculum 2422.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Stars?
Ms. Levitt,
Yes.
Ms. Lochran,
Yes.
Mr. Pepe,
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri,
Yes.
Mr. Joshi,
Yes.
Ms. Freelander,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, motion passes. Up next is Business 2442 through Business 2447.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Stars?
Ms. Levitt,
Yes.
Ms. Lochran,
Yes.
Mr. Pepe,
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri,
Yes.
Mr. Joshi,
Yes.
Ms. Freelander,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, and I just want to thank the JFK PTO for supplying the 2 basketball hoops to JFK Primary. The motion passes, and we are up to Special Services 2413 through Special Services 2415.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Seeing none, Mr. Stars?
Ms. Levitt,
Yes.
Ms. Lochran,
Yes.
Mr. Pepe,
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri,
Yes.
Mr. Joshi,
Yes.
Ms. Freelander,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
I will be abstaining on SS 2413 and yes on 14 and 15.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, the motion passes. We're up to other 2410 and 2411.
So moved.
Second.
Other 24.
HIP.
Any questions or comments?
I think I'm going to take this to closed session at the end. Okay.
Okay, recognizing that it's a receipt, not a acceptance.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was confused today. It's recovering
That's-
from the blank page.
That's fine.
Move on.
Perfectly fine.
I'm more than happy to receive.
Okay. Anyone else?
Thank you.
No, no worries. Mr. Stars?
Ms. Levitt,
Yes.
Ms. Lochran,
Yes.
Mr. Pepe,
Yes.
Ms. Kalistri,
Yes.
Mr. Joshi,
Yes.
Ms. Freelander,
Yes.
Ms. Lee,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Singer.
Yes, the motion passes. We have no policy against it. Once, twice? Okay, I'm going to close that portion of public comment. We're now up to item number 14, old business.
I just wanted to acknowledge the theater department and the Godspell theater production. It was phenomenal, and I laughed my face off the whole time and was surprised at every turn. So just thank you for an amazing entertainment and production.
You're here?
Can I just, I want to add on to what Jen said. Also, thank you to the Bridgewater-Raritan Middle School administration for really accommodating these kids and their parents and everybody involved with the show. I know it was a difficult thing to have to build your set somewhere else and stage your thing somewhere else, but you would never have known because the way that they pulled it off was seamless. And kudos to Mr. and Mrs. Gunning. They were just, everything was amazing.
And I don't know if you guys were, I don't think they did this every night, but on Sunday afternoon, they did a they did a photo montage for the Gunnings, and it was tear-jerking, so. Yeah. Any other old business?
Now that I believe all the back-to-school nights have finished up, so thanks to all the schools that had parents in and students in and board members passing out information for the referendum coming up. They were all very well attended from what I saw, and thanks to everyone who put in the work to make those happen. Particularly, I know at the middle school and I'm sure some other schools, there's some secretarial staff in helping parents get around and get schedules even when they didn't need to be there. So thanks to everyone involved at the back-to-school nights.
Since we're on the thank you train, I also wanted to acknowledge all the PTOs and anybody who volunteers for whether you're room mom or coming in for a day. Just like couldn't do it without you. Some of the activities that you put together and the fundraising and the amount of effort that you put in. Just really appreciate it.
With that, I'm going to move on to, is there any new business?
I was excited in the borough of Raritan. We have these orange flags kind of popping up. I'm pretty sure I was allowed to take one for a minute. I was excited. I think some people think I borrowed it. I sort of got permission, so there's video evidence if I'm under investigation. Oops, sorry. I was excited because I thought Formula One was coming to the streets of Raritan, but it is the Recreation Department putting these out to help people cross the streets. But since there are some on the routes to school, and there are a lot of children along, First Avenue and Old York Road and Somerset Street, the town council and in working with the Recreation Department put together a short video on what these are and how to use these safely. Because the schools, they are as helpful as they are to a small child walking around. You might think it's a toy or not know what it is and get distracted at a dangerous spot. So I know that the council wants to hopefully push this into the schools, JFK especially, maybe Bradley Gardens and Eisenhower, where there are some kids, just to explain what these are and that whether you use them or not, they're there as a tool to help you cross the street safely and not to, do anything. Do anything else with, which glad that everyone's behind that. And special thanks to Council President Nick Cara, who helped get these from the county and is working to make sure that they're used safely by everyone, but particularly the kids in the schools. So thank you to everyone there. If you want to hold the flag, you can come and see me for a minute.
I like the prop. It's a great touch. Bruce, did you get a picture of that?
Camera's not working now.
Mike, it might be a good idea to inform the PTO at JFK about the video.
Yeah.
Maybe they can send it out to their PTO members as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great point.
Any other new business? I will just reiterate what Mr. Walker said before. The candidates' night is October 16th at 6 o'clock, and presumably will be broadcast on YouTube and wherever else you can watch candidates. Hope everyone is informed about that, and good luck to all the candidates. If there's no other new business, I just want to take a quick pause. We have time. Do we want to go into closed session about that, what you wanted to talk about? Because it's either tonight or next time, I assume. So we might as well do it tonight while we have a lot of extra time. Okay. So with that in mind, whereas the discussion by the board is required on matters that are exceptions to the requirement that a public body hold its meetings in public, and whereas the topics for discussion are HIB, whereas it is expected that the details of the discussion may be made public as soon as the issues may be acted upon publicly, be it resolved that the board enters into closed session at this time.
So moved.
Second.
All in fit? Hold.
I think the students are prepared for a student's report.
Oh. Well then, can you please rescind your motion?
my motion.
All right. Then by all means.
Okay.
I think Iris, you're
Yeah,
up first.
I can start.
Floor is yours.
Wave the flag next time. Okay?
Okay. So the first item I want to talk about is the Student Advisory Committee. We had this committee of underclassmen representatives last year, and we would like to continue it this year. It was very successful last year, but there are two problems that we identify that we'd like to address when we choose our student representatives this year. The first problem was that there was only like 40 people who filled out the application to be an underclassman representative, but the form was sent out to more than 2,000 students. So we would like to publicize this opportunity a lot more this time around. And our idea for that is to have all the English teachers, because all the students are required to take English, have them post the Google form in their classroom and have students fill it out during classroom time. That way, we make sure that everybody who's interested is able to fill this out. And then the second problem that we would like to address is that the Student Advisory Committee last year was composed of people who were mainly just academically motivated, but this year we would like to have a more diverse Student Advisory Committee, and we would like to have people who come from all kinds of backgrounds to give those underrepresented groups some representation. And so with that in mind, using the English teacher idea as well, we would like to have the English teachers nominate some underclassmen representatives. That way they can decide who has diverse backgrounds and diverse voices that they would like to contribute to giving reports on what's happening in our school.
Can I make a quick comment? My son was one of the ones who applied and was not chosen, which is fine. But he was not notified in any way last year. So, maybe responding to all of them and saying thank you very much, but,
Yeah, we'll work on communication this time around.
Great, thanks.
Another thing we wanted to talk about was unit lunch. So, as you guys know, previously lunch was during like time blocks, and there were 3 time blocks you could have lunch in, and everyone was divided in different periods. But now everyone has lunch at the same time. So last year this was a little problematic because people didn't know where to go. There were so many people, so a lot of people didn't have places to sit in. But I think this year there's a huge improvement because not only is there a lot of room for people to sit in, there's also a lot of things for people to do. Also, something else we started this year is open campus for seniors, which means they can leave the school if they want, if they get approved. And this has gotten really positive feedback. So like almost all of my friends, they leave because we have 1 hour, which is a lot, and not everyone wants to stay in school. So a lot of people leave, they go home, especially if they have senior study right after. It's very convenient to just go and then go out for lunch or go home. And everyone's just really liking this, so I think open campus and unit lunch in general has made a lot of improvement from last year.
And I think going off of the improvements of unit lunch this year, we see kind of last year as well, the library is very full. I think students have taken advantage of the time period, and I think they're very grateful that in the beginning of the year, the lunch was shortened, and we fixed that before the school year actually started to be 55 minutes long, I believe. So students have really taken advantage of the library use. It's full every day, and the printing access and being able to do their homework during lunch. We also have seen a trend of the cafeteria this year actually being a little bit more emptier. I think easing the congestion and making the lunch lines go faster and quicker. I think also because the seniors are taking advantage of the opportunity of the open campus. And that being said, also easing the congestion of unit lunch are a lot of clubs holding meetings during lunch. I think that this has allowed a lot more students to become involved in school activities. I know personally my sister today was actually talking to me about not being able to do activities outside right after school because she plays cross country, and every single day they have practice after school. So I think it's a great opportunity that the unit lunch provides the chance for students to attend those meetings during lunch. Yes.
I would also like to add on to another advantage of unit lunch, and that is our new idea of having intramural sports teams during unit lunch. This will be our first time doing that. We're hoping to implement popular sports like basketball, volleyball. We've gotten some suggestions for badminton, but also some sports that are less physical, like cornhole, if anyone is interested in that. And for this idea, students will be able to form their own teams and compete against other teams in kind of bracket play styles. And we'll start at one sport, and then we'll cycle through different sports by the end of the year. And we might try to implement prizes for the winners of the brackets. Another thing I want to add to unit lunch is that we've been having pull-out lessons for our orchestra. As I mentioned before, I play the cello in our symphony orchestra, and unit lunch has been a great opportunity for us to get in private lesson time with our school orchestra teacher. She's able to help us with our auditions for the Central Jersey Regional Orchestra, which a lot of students are making incredible use of that opportunity.
And also an exciting thing happening this Saturday is the first homecoming dance in 10 years. We have had a very positive reaction from students about the homecoming dance. I know last year or previous years we've tried to bring dances back, but there hasn't been as much of a reaction from students, and so those dances unfortunately weren't able to happen. But last week, the tickets went on sale, and by last Wednesday, 600 tickets were sold. And so we extended them for 100 more tickets to be bought in. and they were sold out by Friday as well. And I believe they were actually extended as well this morning. So I think more tickets are being sold for the students that didn't get the tickets. So we're really excited for the homecoming dance and for the students to come together as a community and enjoy this season.
Is the dance being held in the gym?
The main gym, yes.
So what's the maximum amount of kids we can have in there? You don't know?
So with the
Because I know there was a problem. People were upset.
So with the bleachers out, it would be 5,000 people maximum.
Oh.
So obviously, with the dance, they're going to be the bleachers aren't going to be out. So I would assume, comparing I think that we would have enough space for.
We need to make sure that, because I'm a high school parent, I didn't get any communication about the ticket sales being extended. I think that's an important piece of information that needs to get out.
I agree.
There's a lot of upset students
Yes.
that weren't able to get tickets, who might need to know that that is happening.
It was broadcasted on BRTV.
Okay,
there
good.
was no email, but BRTV has announced it today.
Great.
So will the smaller gym be open as well? Is this for the overflow of, maybe refreshments, or if somebody wants to take a break, will that be open at that time or no? You don't know?
I think there has been students talking about it. I think that is not confirmed at the time, but I do think that there is talk about that happening, yes.
Lastly, we want to talk about something else that's new this year, which is a cell phone policy. So I would say in the majority of my classes, teachers don't have the need to use the cell phone policy because students are responsible and mature enough to not be on their phones while the teacher is teaching. It's just a respect thing. But I do know that if a student is on their phone and it's disrupting their education, teachers are not hesitant to take their phones away and put it in their little cabbie. But I do think that students, especially since all of my classes have senior students and most of my classes are AP classes, so the students are smart enough to not be on their phones and disrupt the teacher or their own education. So it's not like you go in every day and the teachers take away your phone instantly. That only happens if you're being disrespectful or disruptive. But yeah.
So I, first of all, apologize for not asking you guys if you were ready to have a report. It didn't even dawn on me, but I appreciate it. You've given us some great information today, and you're off to a wonderful start. So look forward to hearing more this year.
Thank you, and it really is great to hear about the good things that are happening as well, and to hear the positive feedback. And look, I don't want to speak for the entire board, but I believe we're all in agreement on this. We really do hope that our student representatives give their honest to goodness opinion. When certain issues come up that involve student life, and personally, it makes me happy to hear some of the things you've mentioned as far as giving seniors the privilege to leave during the lunch period or what have you. And it's really part of what we believe in as just giving kids more responsibility, because as you said, I believe the vast majority of kids do the right thing, right? So of course, I would say a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old can handle leaving for an hour, getting lunch with their friends, and then coming back. And I'm so happy to hear that that's working well. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, I still need that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we're in closed session. We will be, the only activity that we'll be taking is the motion to come back into open session. We will not be voting anything when we're in open session other than a motion to adjourn at that point. So thank you all and have a good night.